Hello guys, welcome to Geology Concepts. We are going to discuss about double refraction. The basic classification is that the minerals are divided into two parts. Optically, if you see the optical properties, uh, these are opaque and non-opaque minerals. And in this playlist, we have been focusing on non-opaque minerals through which the light is transmitted or refracted, and the non-opaque minerals are divided into two parts, which is isotropic and anisotropic. And as you can see the diagrams beside these two type of minerals, is that in isotropic minerals, if the light passes, you can see there is only one light ray that is traveling. Okay, a similar type of only one. But in anisotropic crystal, what happens is that it shows a phenomena which is called double refraction. Okay, and here you can see that the light, a single light beam, if passes, it will break the light into two rays which will be having different properties. Okay, and the anisotropic minerals are divided into the uniaxial and biaxial minerals, which are further divided into positive and negative. So let's look at this in detail. So you can see this calcite crystal. It is a uniaxial negative mineral, and as you can see this there is a paper, and on this paper there is a line drawn and calcite was written on this paper. Okay, and as you keep this calcite crystal on top of this written this line and this calcite, they will start to show two images, and these two images are formed due to this phenomena which is called the double refraction. As I told you, there are two rays which are being produced if the light passes through an anisotropic crystal. So these two lights will form different images, as you can see in this crystal. So it is not only calcite, the other minerals will also show this double refraction, but calcite has a property which is high birefringence, and therefore it shows a clearer difference in these two images. Okay, so another for this to be distinct, the birefringence should be high. Okay, which is the difference in the two refractive index. So as you can see related with this picture, this the light was coming from, let's say, west to east direction, and it enters into the mineral, and as it enters into the mineral, the light is divided into two rays, and this light these two rays emerge out here on this end of this crystal. So as you can see, the two rays, they have different paths now, and they are vibrating in perpendicular directions. So you can see this this ray which is on top, which is called the extraordinary ray. Okay, and the ray below is called the ordinary ray. Okay, ordinary or E ray, or sorry, O ray, and extraordinary or the E ray. Okay, and these two rays will face different refractive indices. Okay, so the refractive indices index which is faced by the extraordinary ray is called the epsilon. Okay, and the ordinary ray is the omega refractive index. Okay, so as they are facing different refractive indices, they will have different velocities and wavelength. We should note here that the ordinary ray is traveling in a straight path. Okay, and the extraordinary ray has been deviated from its path, and after that it gets in another direction. But inside the mineral, you can see that the light here is incident perpendicular to this face. Okay, and when a light is incident perpendicular to a face, we have studied according to the Snell's law that the light should pass in the straight direction. Okay, so the both angle of incidence and angle of refraction should be 0 degrees. Okay, so which is followed by the ordinary ray, but is not obeyed by the extraordinary ray. Okay, so we can see that the extraordinary ray is not following the Snell's law and is deviated from its path, even if this light was incident perpendicular to this face. Okay, so let's see this in detail. Okay, so this is a crystal. Okay, and the light is traveling from below. Okay, and this you can see C axis of the mineral. Okay, so basically what happens is that there is a direction in a uniaxial mineral, a single direction along which if the light passes, it will not show double refraction. Okay, in that particular direction, the mineral will behave as if it were a isotropic mineral. Okay, and what does isotropic mineral do? It does not break the incident light into two rays. Okay, which was done by the anisotropic mineral, but in all other directions there would be two rays which will be produced. One will be ordinary and one will be extraordinary, but in a particular direction, in one direction, it will behave as an anisotropic mineral, and that direction is along the C axis in the uniaxial minerals. Okay, mind you, I'm saying in the uniaxial mineral because it is the case only for uniaxial mineral and not biaxial minerals. They have a different relationship with the crystallographic axis. Okay, so in this uniaxial mineral, this optic axis, which is the axis along which the light does not show double refraction, is parallel, or you can say it is along the C axis. Okay, they are coincident, the optic axis and the C axis, which is the crystallographic direction of the mineral. We should understand that there must be a relationship between the crystallographic direction and the optic axis, because whatever optical properties we are studying, okay, is the representation of the crystallographic the crystal structure of that mineral. Okay, and therefore it will be related to the crystallographic directions. Okay, so the optic axis, what is the direction of the optic axis, will have some relation with the crystallographic axis also. And in this uniaxial mineral case, this optic axis is coincident with the C axis, but they have a different relationship in case of biaxial minerals. Okay, so for now you can understand, for a uniaxial mineral it is along the optic axis. So if you see that this is the optic axis, okay, and this is the light which is incident on this mineral. So what happens is that you can see that this is the light which is incident, and this is the optic axis. Okay, and containing these two lines, we can make a plane which is this gray plane. Okay, I'll mark it with a pen, that this is the incident light, this is the C axis, and containing these two lines we can make this plane which is gray in color. Okay, combining any two lines we can make a plane. Okay, so in this case we have combined these the C axis and the incident light. So what we can see here, that we'll find some relation with this plane and these two rays which are produced inside this mineral. Okay, so basically we this gray plane is shown here, okay, from the front. So you can see that this is the light, okay, and this is the plane which is containing the c-axis and the ray, okay, this ray and this will make a plane, okay, which is this plane. So the relationship, you can see that the extraordinary ray, the E ray, is vibrating parallel to this plane. You can see this, right? Okay, so this vibration is along the screen, okay, along your screen. Okay, so if you see this ordinary ray, the vibration direction is perpendicular to this plane, okay, the plane containing the c-axis and the ray itself. Okay, so this is the relation between the crystallographic direction and the optic axis and the vibration direction of the O ray and the E ray. The main thing is that they are vibrating perpendicular to each other. They both are vibrating perpendicular and in different velocities, okay, with different velocities and different wavelength, obviously. Okay, and if you look at these rays individually, you can say that these two rays are polarized, right? Even if you send an unpolarized light through the through this crystal, through this thin section, the light will be broken into two parts, and if you see the individual light, it is polarized. Okay, polarization I've discussed in the previous videos in this playlist. You can go through them. So these two rays, as they are vibrating in a single plane, they are said to be polarized. Okay, but in the actual microscope, the petrographic microscope, it is a polarizing microscope, and therefore the light which is coming from below is already polarized. Okay, so in that condition also the mineral will show double refraction. And now if we send the light along the c-axis, which is coincident with the optic axis, this mineral will not show the phenomena of double refraction. Okay, the ray inside the mineral will just be refracted. It would be a single ray, it will just be refracted. It will have a slower velocity, but it will not be divided into two rays. Okay, so along the c axis or the optic axis, it will behave as isotropic, and rest all other directions it will show double refraction. Okay, this is actually the difference between a biaxial mineral and a uniaxial mineral. Okay, so why it is called a uniaxial mineral? Because it has a single optic axis, it has a single direction along which this mineral will behave as an isotropic mineral. And the biaxial minerals, what they do is that they have two directions along which, if the light passes, they will behave as isotropic minerals. So I hope these points were clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comments, and if you like the video, you can share it with your friends, and do subscribe the channel. And if you want to join us in our live classes, you can take free demo classes, and all the details are given in the description. So thank you, and stay tuned for more videos.